A very good Wednesday to everybody, and thanks for clicking on to today's European Outlook. It is a glorious day out there. The sun is shining, there's not a cloud in the sky, the birds are chirping, the kids are out playing in the park. Certainly, it has that real feel-good factor with the glorious high pressure that we continue to see dominating our weather pattern. We're seeing these big swings between frosty nights and mild afternoons. And the temperature is going to gradually tick up over, well, we're seeing that today. We're going to see that even more so tomorrow and then into Friday as well. Now, we have got this visible satellite imagery over Europe. So we've got very clear skies across many areas of the continent at the moment, including the UK as well as Ireland. But the real, unsettled conditions are all focused down across Spain, Portugal, parts of southern France. Well, we've got an area of low pressure, a deep system that has been named by the Spanish Met Service. That system is continuing to deepen, actually, with pressure dropping into the 970s and millibars. Unusually deep for this latitude, but this is the area that we're most concerned about. And usually when you've got very strong high pressure encompassing Central Europe, including UK and Ireland, you typically find low pressure down towards Spain and Portugal. So we've got that classic spring block situation in play at the moment here, with sunny skies and pleasant conditions across the UK. Cool, wet, windy across Spain and Portugal, as already highlighted. And humidity levels are very, very low, especially beneath the centre of that high. We've got humidity levels down in the teens across central Germany, as can be seen here. And let's click on to Germany. Actually, you can see 100% humidity over eastern portions of Iberia. So big contrast between moisture levels within the atmosphere between central Germany and eastern Spain at the moment. So let's have a quick look actually at Germany in particular and see how low the dew point, the humidity levels actually are. So the lowest I can see is perhaps that 17 degree or 17% moisture level right here. There's a 12, so we've got Bergen at 12% humidity, so very, very dry air in place. And when you've got that under stable conditions with plenty of sunshine by day and clear skies by night, you've got that rapid rise and fall in terms of the temperature. Here at Marfogan Weather HQ, minus 4.1 this morning as the sun came up. We're now talking about 13.1 for an afternoon maximum temperature. So you can see here, if we go to the UK and Ireland, we're still talking about 30s and 40s in percent across parts of the north. Generally slightly moister air the further south and southwest you go. Over the UK, over Ireland, we've got an 80% as well. And what's happening is that area of low pressure is going to eventually start to drift northwards, destabilizing the atmosphere, and we're going to lose that big diurnal range between day and night in terms of the temperature. We're going to see more increased cloud cover, and as a consequence, we're going to see it's warming up, but it's also going to turn more unsettled and wetter. Now, this was the lows this morning, down to minus 8.3 at Aboyne, minus 7.7 at Altnahara, minus 6.5 at my nearby station of Tain, minus 6.5 also at Loch Liscarnock. I'm kind of sandwiched between these two stations, so interesting. Minus 4.1 here, minus 6.5 at both Loch Liscarnock and at Tain. But even down across the far south, we had the cold nook of minus 4.7 at Benson, Oxfordshire. We had a minus 6.8 at Redesdale Camp in Northumberland. These are the current temperatures, by the way. So we are seeing this swing between the frosty nights and the mild afternoons. We're talking about temperatures around 18 Celsius down across the just north of the London area. It looks like we're seeing generally the warmest temperatures, widespread low to mid-teens quite widely, as can be seen here. Looking across at the continent then, and we have been seeing some big fluctuations in temperature. But not just that, we had the heat late last week and into the weekend across the Balkans and Turkey, Greece. We're seeing a very different story now, and we'll look at that in just a second. But you can see all the mild air across western areas of the continent. We've got cooler air now in the east of the continent. That is a complete flip around from what we've seen back just a few days ago, where we were talking about the chilly conditions in the west, hot conditions in the east. It's amazing how quickly this pattern has flipped on its head, and real shock to the system, especially places such as Bulgaria, Romania, Moldova, where we've been talking about temperatures into the high 20s, even around 30 Celsius. We're talking about the snow and cold back in. I think there was one location in Bulgaria that was recording a temperature of 30 Celsius back on Saturday, -2 and snow yesterday. So incredible contrast, but that can happen at this time of the year. You've got these big swings in terms of warm air trying to lift north, colder remaining anchored in place across the north, and all it takes is a blocking area of high pressure to dislodge some of that cold into the middle latitude pattern. That's exactly what we're seeing. And then if you get onto the other side of the high, you've got winds coming in from a southerly direction. Is exactly what we're seeing at the moment. We had high pressure, remember, to the west of the UK and Ireland. That was ushering in northerly winds. Then that high slid all the way across the UK into Central Europe, now into the south east of Europe. That's now that means that we're now on the other side of the flow, and we're now seeing our winds coming in from a southerly direction. And it looks as if this pattern is going to remain quite blocked as we move towards late March and into the month of April. Now, I want to show you this here. This is interesting. This is one-day temperature anomalies. This is going back to last Wednesday, so a week from today. We had the cold west, warm central and east. Now, I want to play through this animation here and show how this pattern evolved. Now, specifically, I want to draw your attention to the Balkan region in particular. We had temperatures into the mid-30s just a few days ago. Incredible stuff. 20 Celsius above normal. We had 8 Celsius below normal, southern UK, into France, into Iberia. Real contrast, real extremes. But watch what happens as we play through this loop. Now, like I say, specifically paying attention to the Balkan region. Very, very incredible warmth. This is probably the biggest day here. Friday, 12Z. We had close to 10 Celsius below average across France, southern UK, northern Iberia. We had a widespread area of 20 Celsius plus above. Play through the loop and look at how the change comes. We had very chilly air getting driven in across central areas of Europe. Big swings between day and night. But look at this here. There's the big drop in temperature. And this is now the current day. So this is Wednesday today. And we've got 8 to 10, even 12 Celsius below average in areas that were 20 above average back just 2-3 afternoons ago. So incredible stuff, really, when you think about that. Now, obviously, we've got the clear skies at the moment. We're going to continue to see these big swings back and forth. Frosty by night and mild by afternoon. Looking at the temperatures then, and you can see here that these were the minimums, obviously, through the course of this morning. Play through the loop. You can see in the afternoon, warms up with the power of that mid-March, late March sunshine, actually. Back below freezing through the overnight tonight. We could get back down to similar levels as we did during the course of last night. Slightly less cold down across the south of the UK, thanks to a little bit more breeze coming in from the south. And that is a sign of things to come, because it looks as if we could be knocking the door of our first 21 Celsius by the time we reach tomorrow afternoon. Now, the Met Office model is indicating an 18 just to the east of Cambridge, for example. We've got 10, 12 Celsius in the Murray Coast. We've got a few 9 single-figure temperatures here, as can be seen. Then it looks as if the warmest day for the northern UK will be actually on Friday, I think. So less cold, if you notice here, by Friday morning, 7, 8 Z. You've got temperatures pretty much uniformly above freezing. I think more or less every morning has been below freezing this month so far. which is pretty impressive. And then you can see here that we've got a potential 15, 16 Celsius come Friday afternoon. We're still going to be talking about the mild conditions across the south, but it looks as if it's more likely to be focused more further north, the warmth. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see 16, possibly 17, maybe a local 18 across the north of the UK come Friday. And then we are going to have slightly less mild through the course of the weekend here as we'll start to see the pattern become a little bit more changeable. Speaking of the pattern changeable, we're going to see, let's have a look at the ECMWF today. We'll go back to the broader picture and see what it's showing. So you can see here there's that area of low pressure pretty much just knocking on the door of the West Iberian coastline. Lots of unsettled conditions here. Got another little system that's actually pivoting around this main low. Looks as if a new low kind of develops, moves into southern portions of Portugal. More heavy precipitation to come. Continue to play it through. You can see as we move towards the late week into the weekend period, there's that high now then starting to shift further north, allowing this area of low pressure then to drift north as well. So it's opened the door to more destabilized air, lowers the pressure as that high then shifts out of the way. It allows this moisture to get driven in from a solid direction. Now, another thing is Saharan dust. We're likely to see a plume of Saharan dust drift northwards with that southerly flow to the east of the system. So we'll keep an eye on that. Could see some interesting sunsets over the next few days. But it looks as if it's just becoming more unstable, more unsettled. Lots of heavy showers, possible localized flooding in association with this very unstable air mass across a broad area, actually, anywhere from southern Iberia all the way up to the northern, the southern portions of the UK. It looks as if we've got quite a convective system setup. A convective setup with cool air in the mid and upper levels. We've got the obviously strong incoming solar radiation, increasingly strong at this time of the year, and that helps all that upward motion and the development of showers, possible local thunderstorms. Really, I say southern Iberia, it's really extending from Morocco all the way up to southern portions of the UK with this overall setup here. Quite a large envelope of lower pressure now starting to develop towards the late week and into the weekend period. So obviously I've made mention about the fact that it's been very dry of late. This is the past 72-hour precipitation amounts across the continent. We've got obviously very high amounts, locally in excess of 100 millimeters of rain falling across parts of southern Spain and Portugal. We've got literally no precipitation to speak about. Northern France, Low Countries, parts of Germany, and then many areas of the UK has been pretty much high and dry over the last 3 days, but beyond that as well. Now, the Met Office has said that this is in the lowest 5% in terms of rainfall through the month of March so far. So it's been a very, very dry month of March for the UK. Now, here at Marvogan Weather HQ, I've only measured 12 millimeters of rain over the course of the month. Now, this is coming off the back of my driest month on record, which was 22 millimeters in the month of February. Going to be keeping an eye on this pattern because as we move into the month of April, it's looking like we've got this continued block. Now, this is off the CANSIPS model here, precipitation anomaly for the month of April. Very dry compared to average across pretty much the majority of the continent, which is interesting to see. Let's have a look at and see what the latest CFSV2 is showing for the month of April here. And it too is showing largely drier than average across the majority of the UK and Ireland here. A little bit more wet across central and eastern areas of Europe, if you notice. But this is something now that I'm going to start to build into the ideas of early summer. Still a long way off, and we could end up turning wetter into April. We could have a wet May, for example. But given how much of how early that sudden stratospheric warming has and the final warming has occurred, it's looking very likely that we're going to have a very blocked April. That could be cool, that could be dry, but it's going to be an interesting one, just kind of keeping our eyes closely on this overall longer term pattern and see what happens. It'll be interesting to see how much wet weather we get through the rest of March. Let's have a quick look and see what the model is indicating, in fact, in terms of the next 10 days or so. We're about 12 days left of the month. Is going to turn more unsettled, into the weekend, but I'm not overly enthusiastic that this is going to be a change to a longer term pattern. So let's have a quick look at Europe specifically in terms of rainfall amounts first, and then we'll look at the UK specifically. So obviously the wettest conditions at the moment. Obviously no rain across many areas of Central Europe, UK and Ireland included in that, through the course of tomorrow. And then as we start to see the high lift a little bit further north, that opens the door to more moisture coming in from the south, as can be seen here. Very wet conditions across parts of southern France into Italy, for example. The Balkan region going to be picking up on moisture as well. Play through the loop here, and you can see the wettest conditions for the UK and Ireland, generally west and northwest. This is all the way out to the end. This is basically Tuesday, the 1st of April. So let's specifically look at the UK and see in terms of how much rainfall we can expect according to the latest ECM run. So this is by the time we reach the 1st of April. And we've got not an awful lot of rain, especially to the east of Birmingham, north of London. We've got an area here where you've only got literally a few millimetres of rain over the next 12 days, according to the ECMWF model. Looks as if the wettest conditions is going to be across the West Highlands, for example. But, not a tremendous amount of rain. It looks as if largely anywhere from 0 to about, 20 millimetres across most areas of Western UK, drier the further east you go. So, that's it for today. We will look at the soil moisture content in the coming days as well. We're going to be looking at some of the longer range models. We'll look at the longer term pattern as well. So stay tuned. I hope you're enjoying the content here on the channel. A massive thank you to everybody for all their continued support, liking the videos, commenting, and I don't always get the chance to look at the comments as much as I would like to. I'm going to try and do that over the next few days, try and catch up on some of the comments and read them. But if you haven't already done so, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Lots more to come here on the channel. Enjoy that sunshine. It's going to come to a bit of an end as we move towards the end of this week. Stay tuned. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll get there. Bye-bye.